Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Smartpreneur with me, Tallulah. Today we're joined by Frank Fagbo. He is an on-air personality. He's also a copywriter, an SEO analyst. He's a lot of things, and we're going to be talking about starting up as a young entrepreneur. So it's going to be very interesting. So yeah, let's wait for him to join. Hi Dimalu, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Let's see if Frank is with us. Okay, he's not with us yet. Well, we're going to wait a couple of minutes for him. In the meantime, let me talk to you all about Smartpreneur. Smartpreneur is a TV show that aims to bring the latest insights and resources from the SME world to you, the CEO of an SME or an MSME. We have a TV show which airs on TVC on Saturdays between 5:45 and 6 p.m. where we interview amazing entrepreneurs. We bring you lots of tips. We have a segment called Lessons from the Marketplace, where we actually go into the marketplace and bring you some down-home wisdom from the amazing women who've been able to sustain their businesses over years and years and years. Okay. Oh, awesome. Frank Fagbo is with us. So let us... Amazing. Okay, we're waiting for Frank to join. Thank you to everyone who's just joined. Nice to see you guys again. Hi, Frank. How are you?
Yeah, very fine. Thank you. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Same here. Very, very
nice to see you.
Yeah.
So... Excuse me. Today we're going to be talking, thank you, about starting up as a young entrepreneur. Okay. So let me just pin the topic. I know you have a lot of insight to share with us.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I can't wait to talk to you. You're also an on-air personality.
Yes, please.
And you're in the SEO space. You're in the entrepreneurship space. So I feel like, there's a lot for us to discuss.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to pin the topic. Okay. Technology should not fall my hand. Pinned. Perfect. Okay. So first I want to go through your bio so everyone who's watching gets to know a bit more about you, about your background, and about your experience as well.
Yeah.
I hope that's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so let's get straight into your bio. You are Frank Fagbo. You are a driven media and communications expert.
Yes,
and
please.
Your interest in public speaking and thought leadership led you into the media.
Yeah.
That's correct. Fantastic. You're also a freelance business analyst and an on-air personality. You're an SEO business writer / analyst. And
yes, please.
There are so many things. I feel like I have to get through them all so we can all understand the weight of the person we have with us this afternoon. As a dynamic copywriter, you were a content / concept writer and presenter for African Business Radio for a brief period. You're also a quintessential compare and red carpet host. Wow. Many trades. Okay, and you're also an entrepreneur and commercially astute individual who owns a luxury pen brand. The brand is called Signatures. And you have a huge interest in career development and capacity building.
Yeah.
And then you're also the founder of Corps Members and you groomed and trained over 500 Corps members directly and indirectly on issues to do with careers, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Great. So much to get into there. Sorry, I stumbled because there was a lot going on, but I'm thankful that I was able to get through most of it. So let's first talk about you. How, because you're an entrepreneur, you're an OAP, you also do training as well. So how are you able to juggle all these different roles?
Okay, yeah. So basically what happened was that I've always had huge interest in public speaking, and so I was like, okay, what's the best route to go around this? And while in school, I decided that, hey, maybe I could use media as a means to an end, based on the fact that that's the definition of what media is. It's not a destination, but it's a means to an end. It's a medium where whatever it is, whatever form of expression you're trying to, in any way you want to express yourself. You want to express yourself in sales, you want to express yourself in motivation, in inspiration, whatever it is you want to do, you could use media as a medium. You could use it as a means to an end. And so that's what I decided to do. And over the years, I started with Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation, and then I moved to Cool FM, and also the Cool Wazobia Info brand, Cool FM and Nigeria Info. And way beyond that, over the years I've been before going into the media, I had huge interest in entrepreneurship. I had huge interest in business. And while right from school days, I used to make a couple of sales, maybe sell a couple of clothes. I sell clothes, sell shoes, and all of that. And I decided to take it up a little bit. And taking it up a little bit means I looked at what I was really good at and what I could do basically. And I found out that, okay, hey, come on, I could take care of my laundry very well and do my laundry, literally do it pretty well. And I was like, okay, why don't you just build a business out of it? Mm-hmm. And I decided to build a business out of it in the upscale area of Ogun State, which is Abeokuta, the GRA section. Mm-hmm. So basically, I had access to HNIs, to high network individuals around the environment. And so I was like, okay. So why don't you just find a way to take care of these people's clothes, since it's something I could do and build a business out of it. And I started with one of my uncles, and I started with his clothes. Before you know, I started going to different banks. I was getting a couple of clients and went to the GRA section. Maybe one thing I tried as much as possible to focus on was sales. And so based on the fact that I could do it way beyond the product or the service I'm rendering, how do I scale up? How do I take it up?
Yeah.
How do I take it up notch? And I decided to start going to each and every estate during their community development meeting and to have a sales speech with each and every one of them. And just a day before then, I'll go meet the secretary of the estate and meet them. Hey, this is what I do, and I would love to talk to you guys about it. And more often than not, I always get huge conversions and huge leads. And it became big. I couldn't service alone. I got one staff member. I decided to get a second one who was going to be busy with the delivery and all that. And I during the period, I decided, that was when I made up my mind that, hey, let me find a way to just being in tune with my passion. Way beyond the fact that, okay, I'm doing laundry to just keep up with myself and all. And I decided to go into media. So that was the genesis of media. And I started with Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation, moved to the Cool Wazobia Info brand. And before moving, I tried as much as possible to make sure, hey, my business is still on ground. And I built a system around it, though not so massive, but then I built a system around it that it could keep on running without me being there. So what I just had to do was basically just make sure I get all of our bookkeeping correctly done, and weekly I check all of the sales that are coming in, I check the orders, I check all of that, and I was still the face of the business, but then not in charge of operations. I was yes.
So how did that work? So did you have like an operations manager on ground that was?
Yes, I had someone who was in charge of operations. I had someone who was in charge of delivery and all of that. So all I just had to do was to make sure I push sales. So time to time, I'll check out, I'll call most of my clients and do a couple of marketing and all that. And it became something that was solidified. Moved then, I had to face media squarely. And
fantastic. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I love everything you're saying. I just want to pick out a couple of points from what you said. I love the way you talked about the fact that you built a structure around your business. So when you were busy doing your media work and focusing on your media career, your business did not have to completely stop. I think sometimes people make themselves the number one entity in their business. So if they can't be there, then the business doesn't exist. So that wasn't the case in your situation at all. So I love that. But I also want to talk about in terms of, because I know, sorry to pivot the conversation slightly, but I want to talk about training corps members. You said your bio said over 500 have been trained. So I want to talk about young people in business and how, because a lot of the things that we hear these days is that people are interested in business, they do want to start, but they don't know, they don't have the resources, they don't have the startup capital, and they don't have the knowledge. So I just want to talk slightly about your training and how you, because I'm sure there's people watching now who are like, yeah, that's me. I fall into that category. I want to start, but I don't know how. Don't have connections. I don't have training. I don't have money. How can people mimic your success in starting their business? What are some of the practical ways that they can go about implementing a business idea, and even knowing if that business idea is viable in the first place?
Fantastic question. So basically, what happened was that I've always had huge interest in self-expression. So either through writing, rhetorics, writing, speaking, and all of that. So I've been able to develop myself right from secondary school days. I was part of the literary society. I was part of the debaters club and all that. And in one way or the other, I'd been able to hone my skills in that regard. And so while I was serving, I went for service. That's the National Youth Service Corps. And while I was serving, I was like, hey, Frank, I looked at all the core members that were gathered around, and I was like, wow, how can I get at least 1,000 naira from each and every core member? How can this is money I'm looking at. I'm looking at these guys. This is money. And I was like, the very day I remember I was in my bed, and I thought of it. I was like, oh man, you're really good at CV writing, and you're good at writing, you're good at corporate writing and all of that. I've done it for a couple of clients and all that. And I was like, okay, so why don't I reach out to these guys? A lot of core members don't understand the technical know-how on getting your jobs, They don't understand the technical know-how of getting their CVs done. They don't understand the technical know-how of getting their cover letters and all that, job application processes. And I pitched it to Nigeria Info. I pitched the program, the show, to Nigeria Info. And they were like, wow, this is fantastic. So we kickstarted. As we kickstarted, I had to go to each and every local government. I'll meet core members and I'll tell them, hey, come on. I still remember I had my sales pitch. I have it at the back of my hand. And I was like, okay, how do you, I'll talk to them during their, since I was a core member, so they were very much receptive. And so I'll meet them and I'll tell them, hey, an on-air personality from Nigeria Info, and I have a show for core members. You could come in if you so wish, and a couple of times we just have a tete-a-tete session. We'll have a brief conversation on how to go about your career development, how to sell yourself in the best possible way in the market space. And more often than not, most core members are always in tune with such messages. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes,
and as I hit them, I don't come up to them like I'm up there for sales. No. I meet them like I have something. I meet them with value. I meet them with the fact
with value.
Yes, I meet them with the fact that, hey, you could come on air, and way beyond the fact that you could come on air, we could have basic conversation on issues bedeviling core members. And so more often than not, most of them are always in tune. And once they come to the studio, we have a basic conversation, CV writing, best way to apply for jobs. And once I go to the core members, more often than not, I tell them, if you need your CVs reviewed and you need your cover letter services, I'm always at your beck and call. And I get their details. I send them my sales copy via text messages. And I also have a WhatsApp group where I get them. I send a couple of job links because I was able to get agencies that could reach out to the core members, because definitely agencies are always one of their major products, and one of their interests is data. And so I give them the data of core members, and they are able to reach out to them. And I guess sales. Now, when I say I guess sales, most of them are always reaching out to me. Oh, please, I need my CV done. I need my cover letter done. I need this motivational letter for those of them who are applying for scholarship. And I was able to convert a whole lot of core members. Most of them are still on my neck right now. So that was the way I was able to train over 500 core members. I did it in Port Harcourt. I did it in PH. I did it. I was able to reach out to them digitally. You don't have to be there. I don't know if you get my point. You literally don't have to be there. Yes. Nigeria Info, you could access it online. You could access the station online, listen to the show, listen to the program, and have a basic conversation regarding career development. So that's just it basically.
Fantastic. I love everything you said. And, there's so many takeaways from your story. One of the main ones is that, your target audience, your customers can be all around you. You know how people talk about starting a side hustle? You saw people around you and, when everybody else was thinking, oh, these are just my fellow co-members, you're thinking, oh, this is money, and you were able to monetize them. And I love that because I think a lot of people work in environments, maybe if you work in a bank or any sort of office where you have potential customers everywhere. Maybe you're selling shoes on the side, you're selling accessories, you're selling beauty products, whatever it is. Those people potentially, you don't have to look very far to find your target members, your target customers. Sorry. So I love that. But I want to talk a bit more because you mentioned digital.
Yeah.
And it seems like since the whole COVID thing happened, a lot of people are pivoting their businesses online, and digital means of doing business is becoming sort of the norm. I see you're sort of ahead of the curve there, but can you talk to us, because you said you didn't have to be there. Some of the people you reached out to, you did so digitally. So can you talk to us about how you're able to do so digitally? And also, can you give us just a few practical examples of how someone who's watching now who may want to start their own business can do so using free tools, maybe like Instagram, maybe LinkedIn, things like that. Just free tools to sort of, to lift their business off the ground.
Okay, yeah. So basically, one of the major things about going digital is that there's really no one cap fits all approach to going digital. And you have to understand your market. You have to understand your target market, understand what their interest is, what they're really, really interested about. And you have to pass the message across each and every digital platform that you think your clients are literally based in. And so one of the basic ways in getting that done is that understanding your market is a very, very key, is a very, very critical approach to all of these things. And so when I say understanding your market, it means speaking of the core members, I looked at them. Okay, these guys are very, very much tech savvy. They are guys who are very much interested in chatting, very much interested in the latest trends and all that. So how do you reach out to them? And these are guys who are very much interested with quote unquote the euphoria that comes with the media. You want to get yourself on radio, you want to get yourself on TV. And so having that conversation with them sparked sales. Having that conversation with them sparked marketing, sparked sales. It took it up notch to huge conversion. And so when I say having the conversation with them, I mean, when basically I had, what I did literally was that I had all of a database of the core members, and I reached out to each and every one of them. Okay, this is what I want you to put on your status. And so if you are such and such, maybe batch A, batch B, and you're passing out such and such time, you could reach out to us. We have a group where you could get basic latest job vacancies. You could get job vacancies from agencies and all that. And more often than not, most of them are always on check regarding that. And so once I send it to them, they post it on their status. Sometimes you get third degree marketing, fourth degree marketing. They reach out to other core members. I don't know if you get my point. And you just see so many of them coming into the WhatsApp group. I had lots and lots of WhatsApp groups. So all I just had to do was to assign someone. Sometimes I do it myself, who would just post all about, and we have the agencies who are there on the ground, who will post all these vacancies on the group. And as they're posting the vacancies, we're posting our sales pitch. Okay, you can't just apply for those jobs that way. You have to apply it with a cover letter, with your CV, and get it done properly. And so more often than not, we get nothing less than 30% leads from each and every group. So what am I trying to say? I looked at the best way to get these guys. The best way to get them is basically true. Not everyone is on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's the bitter truth, but the fact remains that not everyone is on Instagram. Even most of the young guys you see out there, most of them are not on. Some of them are not on Instagram. Why? Because they're struggling with followership, they're struggling with engagement, and some of them don't really have the content to keep up with their page. But
Yeah.
if you check it out, you see that everyone is on WhatsApp. Your grandma is on WhatsApp. My grandma is on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
7-year-old guy is on WhatsApp. A boy is on WhatsApp. And so you could reach out to these guys on WhatsApp. No excuse. I don't know if you understand my point.
I understand.
So that was the best strategy we used in reaching out to them. And I'm going to say this. Maybe when we start talking about the pen brand, and I will explain something to you regarding having your niche, understanding your market space, and knowing how to reach out to them. Before, it's not a one cap feeder approach. I could decide to go to TikTok, and looking at what TikTok is all about. It's not really a platform that is really in tune with career development. It's a platform that is in tune with having fun, strictly entertainment, and maybe comedy and all of that. So you have to understand each and every platform and understand the clients, knowing how to pass your message across.
Okay, fantastic. Well, you said we can go to it later, but I feel like we should go to it now, just so we don't forget. So let's talk about the pen brand. It's called Signatures.
Yes, please.
Fantastic. So how did you come up with that? It's quite a niche area, like you said. And can you talk to us about niche marketing? Because I think that's also sort of very, effective in terms of maybe having a more limited target market, but being able to serve them very, very effectively. So how have you been able to do that? First of all, a pen brand. Why a pen brand?
Okay. Let me put it this way. I think right from time I've always had huge interest. I love being penned, looking really, really never to be caught on fresh. And so I love fancy pens, and anytime I see them, I always keep them. Even when I exhaust the ink and I'm done using the pen, I always keep it because I don't just know why. I have collections of different pens I keep and just have a nice time with my pen. And you never catch me without a pen. And I was on air on a particular day, and we had an ad, and so the ad came in, and it was one of our top clients. And so I was opportunity to run the voiceover for them, and I went to meet the man, and I met him, and it was a very massive Forex company. And when I met him, I was like, oh, I went into his office, I saw the place really, really big. And I was like, wow, this guy was just starting up. What can I do for this guy way beyond just having a voiceover for him? And he had grown his market in such a way that he had huge clients and he had top guys. Wow. And I was like, okay, what can I do for this guy? We had people who were coming to invest. Some people come in 5 million, 10 million naira just to invest in Forex and all that. And these are HNIs, high network individuals. So what can I do for this man way beyond voiceover? He really liked me, and I just needed to create value to keep the relationship.
Of course, yeah.
And I looked at, okay, what would this man need? And I said, okay, I met him. I was like, okay, how about you give your clients souvenirs after investments? And these are HNIs. You don't just give them any kind of souvenirs.
True. Give
them something that is luxurious enough to stand the test of time and keep your brand in their mind. I don't know if you get my point. Mm-hmm. And he was like, okay, so what do you have for me? And I told him, okay, I have a pen. And instantly I told him I had a pen brand. I didn't have a pen brand then. And I told him instantly I had a pen brand. And he was like, okay, he wants to see them. And I took a couple of my collections. I went to him. I told him, okay, we could crest his brand on it. And these are high luxury pen brand. He was like, okay, wow, this is fantastic. So what do you do with, what can I combine it with? And I told him, we'll combine it with a diary. And
diary.
Yes, with a diary. And as of then, when we did everything, he said he needed like 500 units, and we opted in for 1,000 units. So let me show you a sample of this.
Oh, it's nice. It comes in a box and everything.
It comes with a box. So this is the refill. You have the refill here and all that. So as I told him, he was like, okay, yes, this is fantastic. We bought over the idea, though we went back and forth. And while I was waiting for him to finally approve it, I was like, wow, this is fantastic. I tried reaching out to other clients. That was how I just started the brand. And at the point I stopped, that was early 2019, last year. I stopped,
Okay.
and while I stopped, I continued with my media. My laundry was still running, and just continued with my media, and I just stopped. And so while I stopped on a particular morning, I think it was at night or morning, it just occurred to me that why am I stopping? Why am I waiting for just one person? I could reach out to one person. And the best way I thought of was I had a mailing list that for every top event, for every top conference that happens in Lagos, I get each and every of the notifications. So I get each and every of the notifications from the conference organizers because it's my space. You get, it's my space.
I understand,
so I get each and every notification, Connect Nigeria, Eventbrite, this guy. So I picked up my phone. I called, I looked at one of the events that was happening. I remember then it was at Oriental Hotels. And I picked up my phone. I made a call. It was an event for real estate, top real estate developers. And I reached out to the event organizers, told them, okay, I have something to upscale your event. So I have huge luxury pen brands that we'll just have a stand at the entrance. And so while your clients, while your participants are coming in, the creme de la cremes, whoever is coming for the event, they could just pick one if they so wish. And I just tested the market. I just decided to test the market, and it was just the minimum viable product. Testing the market, I went with like 10 or 6 or thereabouts, and I was able to sell 2. And this is a pen that goes for nothing less than 7,000, 10,000, and all that. So I made 2 sales, and I was like, wow. The next day, I picked up my phone. I called the next event organizer. I got a no because they asked me. They said, "Okay, how much am I going to give them?" And I was like, then I wasn't able to calculate how much was going to come in on the average because I was just trying to test the market and trying to see how things are going to fly. And I couldn't give them a basic fee. I just told them, okay, depending on the sales. And they said no. I tried another. I got a yes. I went. The next place was in Intercontinental Hotels. I dressed up and took my briefcase and all that. So I went there. I met my biggest sales ever.
Wow.
And I met one of the marketing managers of one of the biggest. Oh, sorry, the light has gone off. So one of the marketing managers of. Okay, is this? Just a moment.
Okay, that's better. Yeah, we can see
it's better, right? Okay, so I met one of the marketing managers of the biggest logistic firm in charge of Gala.
Okay.
And I was told I told them, okay, this is what I do. I gave them the sample, and that was towards December last year. And they were like, wow, that they've been looking for something to give their HMIs. This is fantastic. They told me to make 300 units. 300 units. I went back and forth. Immediately they told me to make 300 units. That was when I went for my company registration for the brand. I don't know if you get my point. Because, you know, I'm dealing with top clients.
Yes.
With a multinational. So you don't expect, it's not a side business. It's not something that you have to get all your tax clearance, right?
CAC, TIN, and all the rest of it,
You have to, your tax clearance, everything has to be on check before they do business with you. You have to open a corporate account for the brand, all of that. You have to have board of directors. I don't know if you get all of those things. So I just found a way to just make sure all these things are on check. And in 2 weeks, I was able to get it. That's how it started. I went to the next, and I went to the next. And so I was getting reviews, and some of the reviews were, I need to pay attention to my branding, get more and more done on my branding. And these are people who are in sync with with the brand. These are people who are in sync with luxury pen. People who can buy a pen for 10,000 naira, people who can buy a pen for 7,000 naira. They're not any Tom, Dick, and Harry. They're HNIs. And so I paid attention to their feedback. As I got their feedback, that was a few months before Corona. I got their feedback. I was like, wow. So I had to take a pause and focus on the branding. While focusing on the branding, Corona started. And so Corona started, and this is more or less the time right now where I'm paying all attention to the branding. I'm reaching out to people who, before I have a place where I get them here within the country. So right now I'm reaching out to the producers in China, trying to see how I can ship it in immediately after the coronavirus, and doing all the checks and balances regarding the branding, regarding marketing and all that. So one of the key index that I'm going to point out here is that not every, I looked at, sorry, I just need to balance this.
Oh, it's okay. No problem.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I just want to say something very quickly while you're doing that. I just love everything you've said. I've learned so much. And one of the main things is that you were not, when you were thinking of your pens, you weren't thinking of selling your pens one by one by one. You were thinking, how can you sell your pens in bulk? Which is why you went to the real estate, it was the sort of a trade fair, I guess, or event. And you reached out to multinationals who, because gifting is a very, very big industry. It really is. So you sort of had positioned your pens into that gifting. I know people who make 20, 30, 40, 50 million naira and above over Christmas period, because that's when a lot of the banks and multinationals do their gifting. So you tapped into that, which was very, very smart. And you came, you came prepared. You had your product, and also you took feedback. I think that's really amazing. Some people could have gotten defensive if they're told, oh, the branding on your product could be better. You could have taken it in a totally different direction and thought, no, my branding is fine. I'm happy with it. I think it looks nice. So that's your business, but you didn't. You actually took that feedback, implemented it, and, thought of ways in which you can actually improve your branding by liaising with your manufacturer. So I just want to sort of condense some of that, because you're giving so many valuable insights. So I just hope everyone's following along. And I want to say to everyone watching, thank you so much for staying with us. Please do drop your questions in the question box or as a comment. So, because we've been talking about, you have about 25 minutes left. So, so we don't miss out on answering your question, before the end of our interview. Sorry, Frank. So sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so as I was saying, I said one of the key index that a lot of people don't try as much as possible to catch up with is you have to understand where your clients are. And I looked at where my clients are. You don't find them on TikTok. No, it's not a place for me. More often than not, I get them from LinkedIn, and I get just a few of them from Instagram. So I'm talking about the CEOs, men who are in charge of captains of industries, the C-suite executives, marketing managers of multinationals. How do I reach out to them? Before the coronavirus, I was going to them in person. I was going to their events, meeting them, just making sure, okay, they're in sync with my face, because these guys, they have trust issues with the internet. You see a man who's 50, he doesn't believe you on the internet. He believes every young guy is I don't know if you understand my point.
I understand,
you see that the coronavirus is just changing the narrative. You see some of all these, the millennials who are from 40 and above, they're trying to come down to the level to the digital level of trying to understand the space. And so now the game is changing. They're understanding what the market's niche is regarding digitalizing whatever it is they're doing. So before then, I was going to them in person, because I discovered that, hey, if I do that online, I'm not really going to penetrate these guys the way I need to. I'm not talking about the guys who are in charge of maybe twerking, the people who are in charge of maybe just having jumping from one talent to the other. They're not the ones who are going to buy my pen for just a unit of my pen for 10,000 naira, for 7,000, for 10, depending on depending on the category we want. We have that. Okay. We have different categories. We have the ball rolling, we have the fountain pens, and all that, depending on the need and everything. So I was going to these guys in person, and now I've started building a brand. I've started building a brand for the pen online, and I'm taking it to LinkedIn. So what am I trying to say? I'm saying it's not a one-cap-fits-all approach, because I hear this thing from digital marketers, digital agencies saying, oh, your brand has to be online. Your brand has to be on Instagram. Your brand has to, you could be on Instagram and you're not getting your clients. If you for instance, now imagine you just take a look at, you're running a pension agency, or you're running a pension institution, and you're telling me, okay, you need to go market on Instagram or TikTok. You don't see that. You don't hear you seldom hear pension adverts on the Beat FM. You seldom hear them on MTV Base. Why? Not because they don't want to do that, but because they know that okay, their clients are not there. People from 60, 70, 80 and above, you don't see them watching MTV Base. The place you see them is channels. You don't see them
channels,
on TikTok. Yeah, the place you see them is on LinkedIn. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes,
So
I totally understand.
You have to understand the market dynamic of who you're trying to penetrate. Have to understand the clients you're trying to reach out to, and act based on their behavior, their behavioral patterns, based on where they go, who they hang out with, where they spend the most of their time with, and all of this. So I think all this have to be put into consideration, because you hear all these your market has to be online. It has to. No, I think the first thing, that's putting the cart before the horse. Before the horse. So basically, the first thing that you have to pay attention to is making sure you understand your market. Number one, understand your market. Know who you're trying to reach. Know the guys who, the people who are in charge of, the decision makers, the decision makers in charge of your product, the decision makers in charge of who you're trying to sell to. I think that's much more important than just making a jump and going online.
That's amazing. I feel like you're shaking a lot of tables, especially when you talked about not everybody's market is on Instagram or TikTok, true. Because I think it's easy to want to follow trends, and there's always a trendy new social media platform, and right now it's TikTok. So everyone feels like, oh, if I'm not on TikTok, oh, I'm missing out. I'm not reaching my target consumer, and very rarely are we told to slow down and actually think about where your target consumer is and whether or not your target consumer is on that platform. Because if you're, like you said, marketing something that relates to, maybe it's a bit more expensive, it's a bit more of a luxury product, it may not be on TikTok, like you said. You may have to do a lot of offline marketing, attending, even if it's digital events and things like that, in order to get your brand name out there. So I really appreciate you saying that, because it's given a sort of mindset shift about how we can market and push our businesses in front of our target customer. So thank you so much, Frank. There's still a lot more. We still have to delve into your knowledge as an SEO expert and an expert in the online space. So I want to talk about websites, because excuse me, I know a lot of people have a lot of SEO what am I trying to say? A lot of SMEs operate via their websites online. But it's sometimes hard to get traction to websites. I've had a lot of business owners say that, look, we sell on Instagram, maybe we sell via our shop, but to get people to actually go to, that specific URL, sometimes it's a bit difficult, and they try lots of different things, from Google Ads, to SEO, but those are obviously paid methods. So I just want to ask if there are any effective methods that business owners can explore to get more people to go to their websites, and even in terms of the SEO and the Google Ads, can they do it themselves, or is it best to hire like an SEO expert or Google AdWords expert?
The media exposed me to SEO, and it exposed me to copywriting. So, like I said, I've always had huge interest in sales, and one of the major things that as an entrepreneur you should know is that there are two very, very vital aspects of your business. Number one is sales. Number two, your numbers. Those are the two vital aspects of your business, way beyond your products. Because if you don't have a very good product and you're good at selling, you can sell the product to if you can sell it to 100 and whatever it is, we are 190 million people. Even if you're selling it at 5 naira, just try as much as possible to understand the massive volume you're going to make. I don't know if you understand my point. So one thing entrepreneurs should pay attention to is your sales and your numbers. It matters. And so sales and numbers made me really, really go in for SEO and search engine optimization. And so what that means is you write a copy, like a sales pitch, you write it online, that anytime anyone searches for your product or your service or whatever it is you offer online, it will be among the first things they see on Google. So if they search for the product, if If you write an article, they search for whatever it is you're writing about, it's among the first 5 things that comes up. You see that more often than not, once you go on your Google search, you have less than 20% of the people who go on Google search go to the next page. 80% of people spend most of their time on the first page. If they don't get whatever it is they need on the first page, you see them, they try as much as possible to search again. They coin the statement again. I don't know if you get my point. It happens to me, it happens to you. And so one major goal you should have as one goal you should have as an entrepreneur is trying as much as possible to make sure whatever it is you offer is on the first page whenever anyone searches for it. And what does that mean? We have Google, we have keyword search. For instance, if you're selling, let's say you're selling a pen, and the keyword search that hovers around selling pen has to do with writing, has to do with pen itself. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes. How to think of the relevant keywords that relate to what you're selling.
Exactly. Think of developing keywords that relates to whatever it is you're selling. Whether it's a keyword search that has to do with pen also has a lot doing with the ink, has a lot doing with the refill. I don't know if you get my point. So basically, whatever message you're trying to coin has to hover around the keyword search of the product or the potential clients you're trying to reach, whatever it is their keyword is, whenever they're making their search on Google. And so if you have a website and you basically, once you have the website, you go to the back end of the website, any article you're writing, if you're reviewing your products, whatever it is you're doing, you have to make sure everything, and if it's quite easy when you're using WordPress. So WordPress is, I can say, the world most popular web design platform. I don't know if you get my point. So once you're on WordPress, you're at the back end. If you're reviewing your product, you're writing an article regarding your product, you're writing a content regarding your product, whatever it is you're writing about, make sure all these keywords are always on that article you're writing, and make sure they're on the content you're writing, so that whenever anyone searches for that product, whenever anyone searches for anything that has to do with that product, your product is going to be among the first that pops up. If you run an ad, you notice that your ads are going to be among the first that pops up. And this thing happens every now and then. You notice that whenever you go on Google and you search, you make a keyword search for, how do I take care of my hair? What oil do I use in taking care of my hair? You notice that if you go on Instagram, the next thing you're going to be seeing are adverts that has to do with hair. Yes. Adverts that has to do with the oil you set on. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes.
The algorithm is so large and huge that whenever you're creating a content that has to be online, you have to make sure those keywords are inserted in those contents, in that content, whatever it is you're doing. So it's just a thing of, it's just understanding the market dynamics of Google, understanding the market dynamics of the content whether it's a product or it's service, and it's a very, very, very key index for writers. You see lots of people, they write articles, they don't get engagement. You notice that more often than not, the reason why you don't get engagement is because you don't use the keyword for the industry you're writing the article on. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes.
I'm talking to entrepreneurs right now. So if you're writing an article on, maybe you're writing an article on hair, or you're writing something, maybe an entertainment article about Davido, and you notice, let's say you're writing an entertainment article about Davido, and the only thing you're using is Davido. There are times, if you want to refer to Davido, you can refer to Davido as Chioma's boo. I don't know if you understand my point.
Yeah.
So whenever anyone searches for Chioma, the article will still pop up. I don't know if you get my point.
I understand.
So you can refer to Davido as the 30 billion gang.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So whenever anyone searches for the 30 billion gang, the article still pops up. So this is just the market dynamics of SEO and understanding how it works with marketing and sales. It helps a whole lot. And the earlier you understand it, the better you are, the better your chances are post-COVID-19.
Yeah, it also takes a lot of, I feel like it takes a lot of thinking, and it takes a lot of analyzing to know the exact keywords that actually people are thinking of, because the keyword you're thinking of may not be the same keyword somebody else would use to describe the same thing. So it takes a lot of sitting down, brainstorming, and thinking. But I love the way
it
you
has a
break
lot
it
to do
down.
And by the way, you have to keep on practicing, because the reason why I became very much in tune with this is because I'm in the media space, and so being in the media space, I write a couple of articles, couple of content for you have. I'm a contributor for Nigeria Info. I don't know if you get my point. I'm also a contributor for entrepreneurs.ng. So you have some of all these. We write articles that has to do with the entrepreneurship space. We write articles with the economy, that has to do with the economy and understanding all these indexes. So once you don't practice, there's just no way you'll be able to get it done. So it became a part and parcel of me, and I became maybe quote unquote an expert in it while doing all these things. So it's not something that once you read up on it, then you're done, or you hear of it. You have to put it into practice, understanding how to write your content in whatever it is you're trying to sell out there.
Fantastic. Yeah, I totally agree. So let's get to questions now. We have a question. Okay. So it's Precious, and he says, most times it's hard for clients to trust these young entrepreneurs, especially youth corpers. So how do youth corpers that are entrepreneurs get the attention of some of these big clients?
Okay, basically, I think being a core member has a lot doing with you being done with school and you come into the world, to the real world. And so if you come into the real world, there's nothing like being an underdog. You have to come into the world prepared. Nobody cares about the fact that you're just done with school. The market doesn't, I don't know if you get my point. Even the labor market nowadays hardly cares about the fact that you're just done with school. Because once you're applying for those jobs, they ask you for 3 years experience. How on earth do you get, do you need to, how on earth will you be able to get 3 years experience while in school? But then there are ways around that. Maybe you could volunteer while in school. You did your internship during your service. You had your PPA and all of that. That's by the way. But then the major thing I need you to understand is that you have to be prepared for where you're going to. So I think it has a lot doing with your mindset. So your mindset, you have to have a mind sheet as to where you're going to or who you're trying to target. So if you're trying to target the HNIs, the high network individuals, you're trying to target people who are going to buy luxury goods, luxury items, you have to look luxurious. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't come with a school sandals. No. You don't come into the table. I don't know if you get my point, basically.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared for where you're going to. So how do you intend to reach out to these guys? You have to be well groomed. I think a lot has to be put in place with your physical appearance, your mental appearance, how you think, how you talk, how you approach it. You have to learn networking, especially networking with people who are way above your status. I don't know if you get my point. And so if you're networking with someone who's above your status, definitely you don't go cap in hand. If you go cap in hand, they're always going to avoid you because they see you as oppressed. You just want to come take from them. You have to go with a value-oriented mindset. So are you trying to give them value? Now, way beyond the fact that you want to sell to them, you have to offer them value. Whatever it is you're selling has to come with value. How you're approaching them has to come with value. So go to where they are. And if you notice, these things are not something that comes on you overnight. No. You have to build it. You have to learn how to dress. You have to learn how to talk. You have to learn how to network. Because like we always say, we can't overrule the fact that networking has a huge impact in everyone's life, especially in the third world. So if you're in the US, you might not be a good network, maybe a good networker, and you still have your way around the market. Because everything, I don't know if you get, there's a balance in there. So the disparity between the rich and the poor is not really that much. I don't know if you get, but for a developing society like Nigeria, for a third world economy, the gap is so much. So you have a lot of work to put in place for you to be able to just attain the same level, even if it's a decoy, even if it's something you're still aspiring to become. I don't know if you get my point. But then mentally, you have to get to that level mentally. So if you get into that, once your mental, your mindset can attain that level, then trust me, the rest is just going to be a walkover. So how do I mean by that? The way you dress, the way you talk, whatever it is, you read up about things that these guys read up about. They're very much interested in value-oriented conversations. You don't go, you hardly will you go to a C-suite executive for the first time, and the first thing you're going to be discussing is sports, and they are literally going to be in tune with you. I don't know if you get my point. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does.
Yeah.
There's circumstances hovering around that. But having a basic conversation that is rich and value-focused, you have to know what these guys are discussing about. These guys are much more interested in finance. They're much more interested in the economy. They're much more interested in how their business is selling. They're much more interested in the next opportunity, the next market space, the next. I don't know if you get my point. They're interested in what the oil price is, how it's affecting the business. You have to understand these things. And when beyond the fact that you're a core member, if you don't understand these things, it will be extremely very difficult for you to reach out to this guy, except if maybe you have a father who is also a billionaire. If you have a father who's also a billionaire, trust me, you're not going to be discussing something that is not value focused. So that's what I just have to say regarding that. I think it has to do with the mind, and then the mind transcends into your outlook, then it transcends into the market, and then the sales. So that's just a basic thing.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting. I love the fact that you touched on, because I think sometimes when you have a product you want to sell or you want to offer to somebody, you're thinking of it from your perspective, like, oh, I need to sell my thing, I need to get this thing off the ground, but we don't often think of it from the other person's perspective, which is that they're probably limited on time if they're a CEO or a high net worth individual. So they need to understand your value proposition, but it's also important to connect with them on a level that they will appreciate before even perhaps pitching your value proposition. I'm so happy that you've given these insights, because I feel like all these things are free. You're not saying you need to go buy a Giorgio Armani suits. No, you're not. Just look presentable and read up. And all the things you mentioned, like the oil price, like other things like that, they're easily accessible via the internet, right? So you just need data and a willingness to learn and to cultivate a certain mindset. So thank you so much for that. Let's see if we have any other questions. I'm not sure if we do. No. So if you guys have any other questions, I have lots of questions as always, but if you do, please do write them below so we can take them. We have about another 5 to 7 minutes of this interview, so please do ask so you don't miss out on the opportunity to for Frank to kind of, you know, reorient your mind as
I'm still learning.
You're still learning, but you're a bit of an expert, so I love that. So let's talk about COVID, the whole situation. You know, it started earlier this year, we're still in the midst of it, but I want to talk about how you have been able to navigate it to an extent, and how you've been able to keep all your businesses going, because there's the signatures, the pen, there's the laundromat, there's the media. How have you been able to juggle everything? And even in terms of, you know, staffing, are you able to keep all your staff? Are you able to retain all of them? Have you had to let some people go? What has the situation been like for you?
Okay, so basically, I think to be factual, I'm very honest. It's really affected me big time, and way beyond the fact that it has affected me big time, because I was at the verge of scaling my pen brand, scaling it in a very large way before the whole coronavirus. But then I must put it this way, it's a blessing in disguise. And so when I say it's a blessing in disguise, it gave me time to sit back, relax, and re-strategize. I think that's the blessing of Corona. And if you check each way beyond the entrepreneurship space, if you check each and every of the space, each and every of the fabric that makes up a society, you have the family, you have the work, you have the business world, you have the market space, you have the spiritual space, you have recreation. You see that each and every of this fabric that forms a society, everyone has been able to sit back, relax, and re-strategize. You see the family, you see couples trying to bond. I don't know if you get my point. Corona is more or less a blessing in disguise. You see families trying to reunite with their kids. You see parents at home reigniting the bond and all of this. You see businesses trying to sit back, relax, and re-strategize for post-COVID. And so it's not all doom and gloom. No, I'm just going to put it that way. But then it's the best time for you to sit back, relax, have a good time, and re-strategize. So what am I saying? It has affected literally, I don't want to say everyone, but then if it has affected 99%, then the 1% is more or less insignificant. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes, I do.
The almighty, quote unquote, Richard Branson, we can see what's happening to him. He's literally going bankrupt. Virgin Atlantic is going down the drain. He's going to the British government, begging them, trying to bring up the one at Australia, Virgin Red, and all of these things. So it's affecting even the billionaires, affecting the millionaires, affecting the guys who are the middle class and all that. So now I think the best thing to do is just to not to get overwhelmed with the fact that, oh, all of these things are coming. But then it's just a time for you to just sit back, relax, and re-strategize. I think strategy is the best game right now. And re-strategize in the sense that you have to, based on what we earlier discussed, you have to make sure, okay, post-COVID, what are these people trying to get? Right now, I'm looking at the best way to approach my market. I know the first, immediately after post-COVID, we don't know when it's going to happen, probably in the next 6 months, in the next 5 months. People are not really going to pay attention to luxury brands. I don't know if you get my point. They're not going to pay attention to luxury. Now they're going to pay attention to essentials.
Essentials, yeah.
Yes, your food, your clothing, even the clothing too, it's really non-essential. But then your food, your data, internet, all these things that has to do with survival.
Yes,
everything that has to do with survival, healthcare, your supplements, has to do with food, healthcare, housing, all these things that has to do with survival. So how do you, if you're a luxury brand, how do you find yourself in the market space? How do you still remain relevant, even in spite the COVID-19? How do you remain relevant even during post-COVID-19? I think it's something that we really have to pay attention to. And one way I think we can do that is just remain in the face of people. Make sure your brand is in the face of people. Keep on posting content online. It might not necessarily generate to sales, or it might not you might not necessarily get the leads right now. But then you are in the consciousness of these people, and in one way or the other, they still have you at the back of their mind. They still see your brand often, and when the time comes, everything is going to pass. This too shall pass, because that I'm very sure of. So once it passes, definitely you start getting huge conversions. I think that's the best way to do, rather than being dormant and just sitting back, relaxing, and doing nothing. But then I think it's just this is just the best time to market. And if you could just if you're in the luxury space, you could as well be marketing and find another space. Actually, just play around the essentials. You could go into food. Like I have someone who's into photography big time, a very huge friend of mine, and he does it on a large scale, and there are no events anymore.
Yeah,
and this guy just literally started cooking, and right now he's building his site. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes,
having huge sales, just preparing food.
Wow.
And so if it's not a thing of you not knowing what you want, but it's a thing of you dancing to the tune of the market. I don't know if you get. So if they're playing if they're playing blues, you don't expect me to dance reggae.
Yeah.
So obviously I have to in one way or the other find a way to move my body based on the song the market is playing. I think that's the best strategy for COVID. And no one is an expert in COVID. We've never seen it, we've never experienced it. So it's just the guesswork. We're just trying to see, okay, if we try this doesn't work, then we'll try that. So
what else will work?
Quote unquote, we should just keep learning and unlearning. So we learn,
fantastic.
We relearn and unlearn.
Frank, thank you so much. We have 52 seconds before Instagram kicks us off. That's how interesting you've been. We actually got to the edge of our time slot, but thank you so much. I've learned so much. I know everyone who's watching has learned so much. Our minds have been, really renewed by what you said, and I love what you talked about in terms of re-strategizing and just, responding to the market forces. Thank you so much for coming on. To
Thank
everyone
you
who's
very much.
watching, thank you guys so much. You can connect with Frank on his page, and we'll be back on Thursday, same time, 5 p.m. with another guest right here on Smartpreneur. Thank you guys so much. Bye.
Right.
See you Wednesday. Frank, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to be checking out your business page. Your pens may have to be a Christmas present for one of my nearest and dearest. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, all right.